Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your professor today as we explore the world of Topps Gold Label football cards. Throughout the 1990s, the ultra-premium cards continued to increase and increase in complexity and in perceived value. Topps had done a really good job early on in this growth pattern, starting with Finest and then later on with Bowman's Best. They'd taken a bit of a lull during the mid-90s, but after Pinnacle's 1997 Totally Certified set completely raised the bar to pretty much the highest level it would be for a while, both Topps and Upper Deck answered the call in 1998, Upper Deck by investing in a heightened level of their SPX set, and Topps by creating a set called Topps Gold Label. While the SPX set still had some remnants of the 90s, Topps Gold Label looked very unique in terms of how it was created. It was a very artistic card, and it followed a card idea that would pop up every once in a while throughout the 90s, but it really hit its high point in 1998. And this card is elegant to the point where it still holds up to this day. The card design is referred to by many people as a refractor. It's not really a refractor, but it has the same general concept. It's a thick plastic card, and it has a very rich texture to the picture that takes up the bulk of the card. It also has a superimposed picture further down of the same player, and it has a simple gold strip of text at the bottom for the player's name in cursive, and then it has up in the top right-hand corner the Topps Gold Label logo. And that's pretty much the card design. And on the back, it's a simple, somewhat understated, somewhat elegant design as well. And so the whole card really has a very nice formal look. The set is not differentiated in any way throughout the set. It's basically a 1-to-100 set where all the rookies look like all the veteran cards, and it's jumbled up players throughout the set. So it's a big haphazard collection of players. But what makes this card stand out is they didn't bother with inserts. They decided to focus their entire attention on the card itself. And the card would be the core, the card and its parallels. And like I said, the card was very artistically designed, very elegant. It was a work of art. And it makes probably the most attractive Peyton Manning rookie, I think pretty comfortably. But the set was built with parallels in mind in a way that we really hadn't seen before. It was built in a matrix style. So in the same way as 97 Flair, where they had their 3 rows, in 98 Topps Gold Label they had classes, Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. And the differentiation between them was predominantly in the background picture, the picture that takes up the whole space of the card. The picture that's used in Class 1 is different from Class 2 and is different from Class 3. And they actually have themes to these pictures. So all the quarterbacks have particular poses in each of their images and in each of their classes. And running backs, likewise, wide receivers, etc. And it's kind of on the same model as the Topps Mystery Finest set in the 97 Topps set, where they have, for their bronze, silver, and gold, they have away jerseys, home jerseys, and Pro Bowl jerseys. But the poses in 98 Gold Label are kind of archaic. It's difficult to really tell exactly what they are. So the poses aren't the way to tell which class it is. Fortunately, there's another element, since they did not label it on the back as to which class it was, like Flair had done for both 97 and 98. In this case, they changed the gold foil on the player name down at the bottom. So in Class 1, it's just a straight gold foil. In Class 2, it's actually a silver foil with kind of a fractal quality to it, something similar to the more modern Topps Chrome Ice or Crystal treatment. And then for Class 3, they went back to a gold foil treatment, but they have a tighter fractal texture to it, and there's a very heavy rainbow-like effect when the light shines on it just right. And when the light does shine on it really well, it's brilliant. It really is impressive. But it is difficult to see. You gotta turn it quite a bit until you really see those come through. So it's possible to go through a whole stack of cards 3 or 4 times before you notice that one of them is a Class 3. It would have been nice if they'd put the class on the back, but they didn't. So the best way to go is with the text on the card. But like I said, it was designed in a matrix, so it's not just the three classes. They also have different categories for each of those three classes. The first, and those are related to the other gold treatment, which is the gold, Topps Gold Label logo. In the first category for that, it's the gold label with a gold foil. For the second one, it's the black label, and the black label basically replaces the gold foil with a black foil. Well, not really a foil, but a black treatment. It's kind of an interesting onyx color. It's really, really exquisite. And then they did a third one, which is the red label, which is obviously the hardest to get. So class 1, 2, and 3 are progressively harder, and then gold label, black label, and red label are also progressively harder, so that the class 3 red label is the hardest card to find. But it's not just the ruby coloring of the logo on the red label that really is significant about it. Those cards are actually all serial numbered, and they're serial numbered out of 100 in class 1, out of 50 in class 2, and out of 25 in class 3. And the serial numbers are gold foiled on these particular cards, and that's significant in a second. So that's basically what 1998 Topps Gold Labels is about. In 99, they did the exact same thing in pretty much every single way. They did make a couple of minor changes, and the first change comes from the fact that on the back, where in 98 all they did was label whether it's a black label or red label. In this case, they didn't do that. They finally put the classes, so you knew whether it was class 1, class 2, or class 3. But that wasn't really necessary, because in 1999, they also made a distinct difference between how the background picture was treated. So in class 1, the background picture is all in color. And then with class 2, it's actually in a silver tone or a black and white tone. And then the third one, it's a gold tone. So those in almost all cases, those really stand out between the three classes. As far as the gold label, black label, and red label, that was done exactly the same way, including the serial numbering on the red label. But they did make another point of distinction in here where the serial numbering actually is not gold foiled. So some people refer to them as errors or misprints, but no, that's actually the way that the cards were originally created. So when you see the serial numbering, it's just punched right into the plastic. A little hard to see, but it's there. Now another thing that they did different from 98 is in 1999, they left the gold foil of the name on all three classes. And it's kind of ham-fisted. It doesn't have the subtle delicacy of the 98 set. The 98 set really was a work of art. The 99 cards still look good. They just don't look as exquisite as they had in 98. They did two other things that were unique in 99. One was with the red labels. They also made a version of that which is numbered 1 out of 1. I don't happen to have one, so I'm not going to show you. But they also had an insert set in this set. And the insert set is in some ways kind of like the build of the regular set. It has 3 categories, but instead of being progressively harder, they're all the same they're all the same difficulty in terms of the gold label and the black label. The 3 categories are quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. And the set is the race to the record set. So the concept of it is there's a record holder for all-time yardage for the quarterbacks, for running backs, and for wide receivers. And the background image on each picture is whoever happens to hold the record at that particular time. So Dan Marino was the quarterback record holder. So he is on the back of every single card, and it's the race to Marino subset. And then there is Walter Peyton for running backs, and so it's race to Peyton. And then likewise Jerry Rice for wide receivers. And then they have 5 players at each position who are chasing after the record. So for the quarterbacks, you have both Brett Favre and Peyton Manning. In running backs, you have Emmitt Smith, as well as running backs like Terrell Davis. With wide receivers, they have wide receivers who don't really matter because nobody's catching Jerry Rice. So the set is built in a really interesting way where they utilize 2 players in each category, and it created a really, really neat set and a very beautiful set. And like the main set, it has a gold label version, and a black label version, and a red label version. But while my understanding is that there's no difference in the gold label and the black label in terms of quantity, with the red label there is a quantity difference. The serial numbering for these particular cards is based upon the jersey number of the record holder. And since Jerry Rice's jersey was number 80, that means that all the receivers' red cards are numbered out of 80. Walter Peyton, jersey number 34, so all the running backs have 34 copies of each card. And likewise, the quarterbacks, Dan Marino's jersey number was 13, so the quarterbacks all are numbered out of 13. And I would love to show you my Peyton Manning red label card, because that would mean that I had one, but I don't have one, so I won't show it to you. So the set was a little bit of a fall off, but it still held up perfectly well. They made a few little tweaks to it that made the set in many ways better, and in many ways almost as good. But in 2000 they kind of gave up the ghost. They just kind of decided, okay, well they've done that, and you could tell they were going to be moving on. For starters, they still have the 3 classes, 100 card set, 3 classes. But with this, in this particular case, the 3 classes are not differentiated in any way. They do have 3 different pictures in the background, but the background is not the whole card. It's kind of stuffed in there, and they have this not very well thought out card design worked in with it. And so already you saw a quality drop. And the fact that the Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 had an equal amount of availability meant that there was nothing really to chase. It was really a 300 card set that utilized the same 100 cards. So the intrigue about it was kind of missing, and it's a strange concept to go with. In fact, it fell off so much in terms of really interesting people that I bought my sets for $15, $15, and $15. So for $45, I bought the whole 300 card set, all 3 classes. It just, I really don't know what they were thinking. They did make a 4th class, which was called Premium, and it's their gold. It has a gold treatment on the front, and they put all 3 of the background images kind of squashed in there. And then on the back side, they have these numbered out of 1,000, again with a gold foil. And those are actually fun to chase. So that is the set that you really kind of go after with this. But it lacks all of the spirit, all of the energy of the 98 and even the 99 set. But this set had really fallen into the world of inserts. That's really what 2000 Topps Gold Label was about. And they had a couple of different insert sets. The first insert set was Afterburners. And Afterburners was basically just a bunch of veteran cards with a kind of a Photoshop type of a background. Nothing really all that intriguing about it. They had the Bullion Set, and the Bullion Set was a 10-card set of the triplets or the trio of playmakers on each of 10 different teams. And this is, basically the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. This is actually a really nice set. It looks nice, it's fun to chase, and there's some interest to the card. Graceful Greats is an elegant card, just a couple of vets and rookies, but nothing really inspirational about these cards necessarily. They also had their autographs cards, and the autograph cards, that's basically where they invested their money. This is the one card that really looks like a Topps Gold Label card. I like it a lot. They have a lot of room for a autograph, whether they use it or not. But I wish that they'd use this idea more in the rest of their card designs, because it really does come through. But the fun card set in this, or the fun insert set to collect in this, is their holiday matchup set. And that is 2 sets that look at the different game setups for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. Now, the NFL is the only sport that has significant games both at Thanksgiving and at Christmas time. And so this is a really good nod to that, where they show all the different games. And they show a player from each of the 2 teams in each particular matchup. 14 games per weekend. And the set has a really exquisite die cut quality to it, which is a concept that they just hadn't thought to include in any of the Topps Gold Label sets prior to this. So it made it stand out, but that's not the only distinction of the set. The thing that really stands out about this set is that it's not just two 14-card sets. What a lot of people don't tend to know is that on the back side of the cards, they actually have the team names for each of the two teams, either one team or the other on each card. So that means there are two versions of every single card. And that gives an extra tier of collectability to these cards. So instead of a 14-card set, it's actually a 28-card set, or 56 cards for both sets combined. If you do encounter a team that's not one of the two represented, that's a misprint. It's not supposed to be that way. So it's only the two teams represented that are the collectible cards. But if you do happen to find a misprint, this is one of the cases where a misprint versus an error, a misprint really would have more value. It's a really cool type of misprint to end up with. But other than that, they really didn't do anything for Topps Gold Label in 2000. So the fact that it died away and didn't reappear in 2001 makes a lot of sense. And it's a shame, because when this card hit the market, it was great. It really was a great gold standard for high-end cards. And I guess it just didn't quite catch on to the market at the particular time. If they'd done some autograph cards, it probably would have been a lot stronger. But they seem to be kind of swinging around trying to figure out something to do with this, and this just kind of gave up, which is a shame, because for the brief run that it has, these are truly nice cards. And it would take a while until you would really see cards of this caliber hit the market with any strength. And now they're pretty commonplace. You kind of expect this kind of card. A couple of different brands of this pretty much every single year. But in this brief time in the late 90s, these cards are a unique card that actually holds up even today. So it's a really fun set to collect. I enjoy the cards a lot, and I'm not alone in that. These cards are very popular with people, and just the gold label set, or just the red label set, is difficult to pursue. So that's pretty much Topps Gold Label. It was a fun little time in the late 90s, a very unusual set for the 90s. And I hope that answers all of your questions. If you have any other questions, by all means, ask me in the comments below. If you happen to know something that I didn't cover, please bring that up too. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. Hope that you'll hit the like button. I hope that you'll subscribe as well. And I hope that you'll be looking forward to future videos as I come out with them. And thank you for watching.